let you guys run the show. Okay.
Thank you for the introduction and for inviting us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Good evening, everyone. So Brenda is going to do the dialogue today, so I'm just here at the start and I will join you when she has finished. So I'll say farewell for now and I'll see you later on in the session.
Okay, thanks, Pete. So Garen and Sean, thank you so much for being willing to do another dialogue. So I'm imagining that most people here were here last time also, and so watched the dialogue that the two of you did. So I am wondering if we could begin with you giving each other an appreciation. So one thing I've appreciated about you this week is, so who'd be willing to begin? And the other person will mirror. Okay, we'll repeat it back.
Okay, I can do it.
You can do it. Thanks, Karen. Okay, so just turn towards Sean so that he can see you and say, Sean, I appreciated it when you.
Sean, I appreciate you did really support me to study what I want.
You appreciate what I did supporting you to study what you want.
And just say thank you, Sean. So you're thanking her.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Sean, I want you to say thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Sean, now you. I appreciated it, Garen, when you.
Aaron, I appreciate it. You are such a strong woman.
Okay. You appreciate I am such a strong woman. Thank you.
One way I saw that this week is when.
When?
So I just want it to be specific so that Garen really hears and can take it on, because so one way that you showed your strength to me this week is
when your emotion is down and then you're still cooking for us.
When my emotion is very down, I still cooking for the whole family, not you. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I'd like you to tell each other the impact of the last session. So the impact of that last session for me was?
The impact from the last session to me is, I know it's quite different in your world and between you and me.
The last section, the impact from last section to you is, it is quite different between my internal world and your internal world.
Thank you.
And what that's like for me, knowing that we have that difference, is?
We may need you to slow down a little bit, to repeat again the sentence for Garen.
Yeah, no problem. So Garen, just try realizing that we have this difference. Feels.
We have different feel.
You're realizing.
Yeah.
We have different feelings.
Yeah, I realizing we have different feeling and opinion.
And what that's like for me is realizing that what that's like for me is.
What is that realized to me is we have a different feeling.
You have different feelings.
Yeah, we have different feeling.
That is what she's
Mhm,
realized.
Yeah,
We have different feelings.
we have different feeling and different opinion.
mhm.
Different opinions.
Different opinion. Yeah.
And would you say, Garen, I didn't know that before?
I didn't know it's quite big difference between us before.
So you didn't know it's quite different opinions
Yeah.
between you and me.
Yeah.
You didn't know,
Yeah, I didn't know.
but now you know.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm. And that feels
That feels scary, upset, shock, because it's big different.
Touching.
I think scary
That feels scary in shock.
in shock. Yeah,
Scary,
scary
shock.
and shock. Yeah.
okay. Just is there more, Sean?
Is there any more? Is there more?
No, thank you.
No.
Okay, so just summarize that, Garen. So in summary, the impact of the last session was,
Should I summarize that?
yes, please.
During the last section, after the last section, the impact was you realized we have different thought, we have different opinions, and then that give you strong feelings. You feel shock, you feel a little bit scary. You feel scary, you feel shock.
Yeah.
It's a good summary.
Yeah, it's good summary. Thank you.
And does that make sense to you, Sean, as you hear that?
It's making sense, and yeah, I totally agree, and I think we should talk about today's topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so just before we move into that, Sean, would you be willing just to say the impact for me of our last session was?
Sure, definitely. The impact for me from last section is not as strong as your thought.
The impact for your last session is not strong. You think than my talk.
Yes.
Is that more?
No, that's it.
Okay. So, so we could either carry on from where we left off last time, or we could begin with something different. And I think, Garen, you have something that you would like to share. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I'd just like you to say to Sean, I'd like to have a dialogue about, and give the topic, and then say, is now a good time?
I would like to have a dialogue about you disrupt my talking. Is now okay?
Yes, it's okay to talk now.
Thank you.
And so, Sean, I just want you to keep mirroring back. And remember, I talked about the pause button last time. So just putting your hand up, a very gentle gesture when you've got
Okay.
about as much as you can remember.
Okay.
Garen, you just keep an eye on that. And when he signals, just stop so he can repeat back and get all of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So it can feel a little bit disruptive, but it's easier to get into a rhythm that works. using word for word mirroring.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay. So just start wherever you would like to, Garen.
That when I talking something, maybe just halfway, and when I talk something about you don't agree.
When you were talking about something to me, in the halfway, if I don't agree.
And you will just say, I'm so tired, or I don't want to talk, or just live out with me.
I will say, I'm so tired.
Okay, Sean, I just want you to say, so you will say that I.
Okay, yeah. And you will say, I will, how to say that? You will say, I will say. You will say, I said, I just don't want to talk. Leave it to me.
I'm tired.
I am tired.
Yeah.
Any more?
So Karen,
Sometimes
just try when that happens, what happens inside of me is.
Okay.
Yeah.
When that happens, you feel.
when that happens, I feel you don't want to listen to me, and you don't respect me.
When you're saying when that happened, you feel I don't want to listen to you. I don't respect you.
Yeah.
Is there more?
I try to listen to you for the whole dialogue with me. That's, I think you will listen to me to talk my whole topic.
You listen the whole conversation when I was talking, and you're saying you expect me to doing the same things to you.
Yes. Yes.
Is there more?
Is there more?
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So this happens often, or this happened today?
Quite often.
It's often.
It's quite often
Quite often.
because we talk a lot.
Yes. So you imagine something. Sometimes we have different opinions. She will let me to talk first.
Okay, so Sean, rather than giving a response now, I just want you to be visiting Garen's world right now.
Sure. What should you do next?
So Garen, I just want you to tell Sean a little bit more about what it feels like. So you said it feels like he doesn't respect you.
Yeah.
And what I want to do to protect myself when that happens is?
I
Protect for who?
I protect myself will be okay. If you don't want to talk, I go away. I don't want to talk to you again.
What you're saying is the way you protect yourself is once that happened, if I don't want to talk, you will walk away. You don't want to talk again.
Yeah.
Is there more?
One more is I feel very unfair because when you're talking about some topic, I actually feel very boring and I don't interesting. But I still listen to you.
What you're saying is you feel is unfair because when I was talking to something you feel is boring, you listen to the end.
Yeah. Because I think I am your wife. Sometimes I can't solve a problem, but I at least being with you.
You're saying you're doing that because you're my wife, and even you can't solve the problem, at least you can be with me.
Yeah.
And then be a listener.
Yeah.
So when this happens, what I tell myself is,
when it happened, I tell myself is why I do the good wife. I think I am a good wife, but you can't see it.
When that happens, you feel unfair. You're saying why you doing a good wife, and then I can't see it.
Yeah. That's make me very frustrating.
That make you feel frustrating.
and along with the frustration, I feel
along with frustrating, I feel lonely.
Along with the frustration, you feel lonely.
Yeah. Because I think you are the close people to me in the world, but you don't want to listen to me.
Because you're saying because I am the closest person in the world to you, but I don't want to listen to you. So that's why you feel lonely.
Yeah.
and I pull away to protect myself. Is that what you said, Darren?
Yeah.
And when I pull away, I feel even more lonely. Is that right?
Yeah.
So just tell Sean that if that's right.
Yeah. I
Pulled away.
pull away and I feel very lonely. Yeah.
And then you pulled away to protect yourself.
Yeah. To better myself.
But you feel even more lonely.
Yeah. Because just only myself to protect myself.
Because it's only yourself to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So Sean, just say, is there more?
Is there more?
That is the worst enough.
That's fine. That's enough, Darren.
It's enough.
That's lovely. Thank you. So Sean, in summary, what you're telling me is, so just summarize what you've heard from Darren, if that's okay.
In summary, what you're telling me is when we have a conversations, you always trying to listen what I'm saying. Even the topic is boring, you will trying to listen to the end because you know you are my wife, and even though you can't solve the problem, at least you can be a listener to always be with me. But you expect me to doing the same things. However, when you're trying to talking to me, sometimes I stop conversations, or I will say I'm tired, or leave it to me, stop talking. You feel unfair. You feel lonely because I am the most trustable person in the world to you. If I don't want to listen to you, you feel lonely. In order to protect yourself, you will put yourself away. But that makes you feel even more lonely. Is that good summary?
Yeah. And I can answer you the other questions. Why I get more and more stronger.
So just say more, finish that sentence, Garen.
You finish the sentence. You can answer me the questions, which is not really questions, but you will know why you become more and more stronger.
Yeah, that's what I want to say.
So she's saying she's become more and more stronger because she, in the relationship, she have to be strong enough to protect herself.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, because the lonely feeling is very horrible.
Because the loneliness is horrible feeling, and you have to protect yourself, and you wanted to be a strong man, strong woman. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So are you okay, Garen, if I give you another possibility? So how I learned to protect myself that way is
I protect myself as I hiding. I just hide myself to a corner. Yeah, because I feel safe, and I can't cry in front of you because I'm not be brave. Because I think you will leave me alone and will make me more lonely. So I will put myself to a corner, to a shower box, and protect myself and give myself a hug and try to tell myself, no, it's not only you. whatever, you are not being with me, I'm still here. I just talking to myself.
The way you're doing, the way to learn to protect yourself, the way you protect yourself is you like to hide in a corner and then hug yourself and then talk to yourself. You don't want to cry in front of me, and then you just keep talking to yourself, hide in the corner, cuddle yourself.
Yeah.
So Garen, if this is right, I learned to do this when I was really young. Is that true?
Yeah.
So just tell Sean that. I learned to do this when I was really young.
Yeah, when I learned that I am very young, I don't want to tell everybody I'm very weak, and I feel like I just crying is can't do anything. I can't fix the problem. So why I need to crying in front of somebody?
When you're young, you learn that crying is useless. Crying in front of someone can't solve anything. So you cry in the corner. Hug yourself to be strong.
Yeah.
I remember one time when
Can you remember anything when in your childhood?
Not in the childhood, but I remember the first time when we just get the relationship. I think it's 12 years before.
I'm just wondering if you remember something outside of the relationship, Garen, rather than, because that will help Sean be empathic for the part of you that learned to do this outside of your relationship, that you bring that same protection into the relationship.
When in my year 4, year 5, I didn't do any bad things for the other girl, and the girl just tell the teacher, say, I hate her. And because that girl is a very good student and the teacher trusts her, and I need to say sorry to her in front of all the school in the stage. But
Do I have to repeat it?
Yes, yeah. And just stay connected with each other through this, right? So Garen, Sean is here with you, listening to you. He's not going anywhere. He's interested, right?
I'm not gonna go anywhere. Because I'm holding her hands now.
Nice. So what you're telling me is?
What you're telling me is when you in year 4 or 5, you got a classmate, a desk mate, or maybe, and she is a good student and one day you did nothing to her, but she complained about you hate her, and therefore the teachers trust her, and end up you have to apologize to her in front of every student on the stage.
Yeah, for the whole school. And I need to create the one story I didn't did and tell the everyone
You didn't.
I hate her.
You have to tell everyone a fake story. How you hit her.
Yeah, it's so weird.
So weird.
Yeah.
So a decision I made then was?
After that, you made a decision.
After that, I made a decision is I crying in front of the teacher. I say I didn't do anything. But the teacher say you did it. And I say, oh, crying is not useful because you're just crying. But your teacher still not trust you. Because I am not a good student at that year 4 or 5.
After that, you made a decision. You have a conclusion. You had a conclusion. Crying is not solving any problem, and crying, if you're not really good student, even though you're crying, no one trusts you. No one's listening to you. So you want to be a good student and stop crying.
Stop crying in front of the people don't trust me.
Stop crying in front of people who doesn't trust you.
Yeah.
And so how this comes up for me when you, Sean, don't seem to want to listen to me is?
What sentence do I need to talk?
So how this impacts me when you don't want to listen to me, or it feels like you're not willing to listen to what I have to say.
Yeah, this impact from me when you didn't listen to my whole things and you just stop and say you are wrong. Don't talk to me anymore. And I say I tell the truth. But you think I'm wrong. Okay, stop talking. I don't want to explain anymore because I tell you the truth. I tell you the thing, but you didn't trust me or you think I'm wrong. Okay, I need to protect myself, but I'm not crying in front of you because that's not problem solved.
Okay, sure.
What you're saying is, so that bad memory brings you, that impacts you when you're talking to me. If I refuse to listen to the end, and because you're telling the truth, you're telling what you're thinking, telling the truth, but I refuse to listen, you will feel it's not worth to talk. And also you feel upset, but you don't want to cry in front of me because crying in front of me is not good for problem solving.
Correct.
Okay, so Sean, is this all making sense to you? So just ask her, is that a good summary of that piece? Ask her.
It's a good summary.
Yes. Yes.
That making sense to me. I understand your feelings now.
So what makes sense to me is?
What makes sense? It is quite making sense to me. That the closest person in the world doesn't really have any patience to listen you to finish the whole story. I thought I catch the whole thing, but ends up I missed out something. You haven't finished talking.
So is there anything more in what Garen has been telling you that makes sense to you, Sean? Like it makes sense to me that when I cut you off when you're talking, that you would feel disrespected.
It is also making sense to me when I cut you off and you feel disrespected, you feel lonely. It's also making sense. It makes sense when you're saying you want to protect yourself and you stop talking, you put away. And that also makes sense to me. You're trying to be a stronger woman, like strong relationship, strong opinions, is making sense to me.
So just to add, Sean, does it feel like I'm getting you?
Does it feel like I'm getting there? I'm getting you? I'm getting inside of you?
Yeah.
What should I do? Listening.
And
Be patient.
And now just the last piece, Sean. I imagine you feel. So those you've told me you feel, and I imagine you might also feel.
That you tell me you feel lonely, you feel haven't been trusted, not been respect. You may also feel upset.
Is that what you feel?
Is that what you feel?
Yeah. Because in the school, I trust my teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Even I'm not the best student, but I still trust her. I be honestly, but she don't trust me. And in here, Sean is the most trust people in the world.
Just tell me again, you're the person I trust the most in the world, Sean.
Yeah. You are my trust people in the world, more and more than my parents, because in this family, I trust you more than myself. But I'm so scared if I lost your trust. I don't know where I can put myself. I try to be strong, but I still choose trust you. I'm still trust you.
So Sean, I do want you to get that. That's important. So what you're telling
I
me.
do get it. What you're telling me is I am the most trustable person in your world. And if you lost my trust, you don't know where you're gonna be.
Yeah. I'm so weak.
Doesn't sound like it at all, Garen.
I should trust myself.
Well, it sounds like you trusted your teacher and she really let you down. Yeah,
That things happens a lot.
yeah, it does. So, Garen, are you okay if we cross now into Sean's world for a moment?
Okay.
And is that okay for you, Sean?
Yeah,
So just begin with, I'd like to respond.
I would like to respond to hear what you're saying.
So one thing that stands out for me is
The one thing stand out for me is I am the most trustable person in your world.
so I'd like you to mirror that, Garen. What stands out for you is
What are you saying?
What do you say stand out to you was you are my trust person in the world, even more than myself. It's horrible.
And what I want to say in response to what you've told me is, so Sean, anything you'd like to say in response to what Garen has been sharing with you?
I would like to respond now. That is quite touch, and I feel I am important, and I am willing to working together with you to listen to you when you're willing to talk, to hold on until you finished the conversation. Do not judge.
And so Garen, I just want you to come in and repeat that back.
You respond as you are the most important people in my life.
I feel I am important to you.
You feel you are important for me. You will try to not cut out my conversation. Listen to me
To the end.
to the end. Is it correct?
Do not judge.
Do not judge.
I like judge. Sorry, guys.
So if this is right for you, Sean, just say, I really want to be there for you when you're telling me things that are important to you. That's true.
That's
Just
true. I really wanted to be with you, that you're telling me stuffs.
So just look at him while he's telling you that, Garen. You really want to be there for me.
You really want to be with me. I will choose your like topic to talk?
And Sean, I'm wondering what it's like for you when Garen protects herself by withdrawing, by moving away from you. Are you able to tell her that when you're feeling lonely and like you need to protect yourself? I notice what happens for me is
when I noticed you trying to protect yourself, I can notice it. And my feeling is lonely too. So I feel lonely as well. Somehow, depending on the situations, I may choose to stay alone. I feel I have my own feelings too. Would you able to repeat that?
When I go away to protect myself, I feel lonely, but at the same time, you feel lonely as well. You have your own feeling. You would like to leave you alone.
Sometimes I would like, depending on the situation, sometimes.
Depends on the situation. Yeah.
and then what I do is
Me?
yeah, Sean. And then what
And then what I did is I would just carry on jobs, other stuffs. And then stop the conversation. Yeah. At that situation, the common things I will do. I mean, the common things I do, you know, once you walk away, you pull yourself out. I stop thinking. I focus on other stuffs. I focus on jobs. I focus on clients.
So just keep mirroring Garen.
When I leave me alone, you will try to do something else, to talking about the clients at your job.
Yes.
Okay, so Garen, is it okay for you to summarize? In summary, what you're telling me, Sean, is?
The summary you talking to me is you know my feeling now. That doesn't make sense to you. And when I leave me alone, I feel lonely. You feel lonely as well. And what you try to do it is don't do your best. Don't cut off my conversation. Listen to me to the end. If you judge me again and I stop the conversation, I go away and you have your own feeling and you will try to do something else to do your job and leave me alone. Is it correct?
Is that a good summary? Just asking.
It is a good summary, but you may feel weird, but I reckon that is the way I deal myself. I
try to make things better by doing more. What you're saying, Sean?
I'm trying to walk away by doing something else.
Right.
If it's not really locking down, I may still working right now. So even though, I mean, I feel jobs can't be finished, too many people is waiting for the response. The phones keep ringing. So I was just doing something else.
So Garen, get that, please.
You try your best to do is walk away to do your job, to answer your client. Yeah.
Okay, so is what Sean's saying making sense to you, Garen?
Yeah, that's making sense.
So just tell him what makes sense about what you're telling me is.
You're making sense to telling me about is you let me alone. It's not mean you will let me alone. You just have your own feeling. You just don't want to talk, and you just don't want to stay beside of me. That's it. And you can try to thinking about the other things will make you feel better. Is it correct?
Yes, I walked away. I scared away. I was trying to do something else to pull myself out from the uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, that's making sense.
So just get that last piece. You're trying to pull away from an uncomfortable situation.
You just pull away yourself to the uncomfortable situation.
From the uncomfortable
situation.
Yes.
So, Sean, do you feel bad about yourself in that moment?
Yes, I do. I do feel bad myself.
So can you tell Garen about that? I feel bad about myself. I feel...
No, I feel nothing on that moment, but I feel bad myself now.
Why? Oh, sorry.
No, lights. Hold on. Yeah, much better now.
Okay, so just get that, Garen. So what you're telling me is?
You feel bad now.
Yes. I feel nothing.
You feel nothing. You feel nothing now, but
No, I didn't feel anything when I was doing something else. I put myself out from uncomfortable situations. For example, talking to the clients, rather than talking to you, I talking to the clients. I feel nothing wrong.
Okay, you feel nothing wrong. You walk away to talking about the client.
At that moment.
At that moment, yeah.
But I do feel that is something wrong.
You do feel something wrong
Now.
So I feel as though I'm rushing you both a little bit, but I'm just aware of the time. So Garen, can you just say to Sean, does it feel like I'm getting you?
Do I getting you?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And I imagine that you might feel So he's told you some of those feelings. You've told me you feel, and I imagine you might also feel.
I imagine you might feel lonely as well.
Yes, I also feel sorry.
You also feel sorry to me.
Yes.
Do you feel surprised I put you are my most important people in my life, even higher than myself?
I'm not surprised. You always love me.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. I more feel, what would be the feeling that you feel around that?
I'm not surprised. I more feels I'm a selfish man.
No, this I choose. It's not. You push me. I choose you are the most important.
Yeah, but I feel too selfish.
So just mirror the feeling.
You feel you're selfish.
Yeah, I give myself a hard time.
Yeah, I
I
can
guess,
do it.
yeah, so Sean, I'm just wondering whether you're thinking my job is to look after you and protect you and make sure that you're okay.
No, it's not about the jobs. I regarding the jobs, we've been talking about the jobs, but I mean the job is important, but it's not really for protecting you. The jobs is jobs. I mean, once we have bad conversations, I'm trying to scare away. I'm trying to do something else. I'm using that time. I'm filling up the gap. I'm using that time to doing something else. What else? I can just do work. So that's why I mentioned about the jobs.
Okay. All right, so I'd like you to give each other an appreciation now for one thing I've appreciated about you in this dialogue is
One thing.
Should I do that first or?
Either of you can. So Garen,
Okay.
it sounds like you've got something already. So do you want to start?
Yeah, I very appreciate you tell me you just use a different way to being with me. I don't need to feel lonely because you're still there, because you have a different feeling. You just walk away to protect yourself. I walk away to protect myself.
Should I mirror it?
Yes, please. Sure. So one thing you appreciate about me is?
One thing you appreciate about me is I'm still with you, just using a different way to acting, just using different ways to be with you. Is that correct?
Yeah.
One thing I am appreciate about you is you always put me in first.
Always.
And I do appreciate you can telling me the hard core feelings. And I feels myself. Selfish. I really should listen your conversations to the end.
Thank you.
Do not judge in the halfway. The saying.
Thank you.
So one thing you appreciate about me is, so just mirroring that. You're doing such a good job, you two.
One thing I appreciate about you
about me? One thing you would say about me.
About me is, you know, you are my most important people in my life. Yeah. You feel you're selfish. And you will try to listen to me in the end.
To the end.
To the end. To the end. Yeah.
So just say thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the end of the dialogue. So thank you both again very much. You're both incredibly courageous. Can you just tell me how you found talking about this subject using this structure? How did you find it?
It's pretty tired, but it works.
It's pretty what?
It's pretty hard to follow the structures.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like usual talking between two persons.
Mm-hmm.
You have to follow such a structures, but it works. If you can't work it out, better than nothing, you can try. But as ordinary couple, we have no ideas about the consequence or rocket science behind the structures.
Mm-hmm.
We just follow it.
Right.
We didn't know. Yeah, it's pretty miracle.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is. So you're saying, yeah, you don't really understand the reason behind this particular structure, and you're just kind of going along with it, but it seems to work. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sean. And you, Garen, how is it for you bringing up the topic this time?
It's very tough to me.
Very tough.
Very
Yes.
tough, because I don't want to remind my bad memory. It's horrible.
It's really hard going back to those old memories.
Yeah, because I don't want to think about it.
Right.
Yeah, because sometimes I ask Sean about the memory. He always say, I don't know, I forgot it. But some memory is quite very tough to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I think everyone will be similar situation.
Right.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, we all have difficult memories from the past that come up in our relationship with our partner. Something happens and we respond, we react out of our old memories, even though they're often unconscious. We don't even know that they're there. So this at least brings them to consciousness so that you know, and that you can describe it to Sean so he can see that, wow, you're acting in that way. You move away from him and try to look after yourself and don't cry for reasons, so now he understands that more. And I think out of that empathy, he's much more likely to be the partner that you need.
Yeah, thank you. Leave some time to the other people to ask your questions.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we're just about out of time, aren't we? So I took longer.
That's okay. It's your show today. Is it okay for us to ask a few questions before we end?
Yes, of course.
Good. I think you just asked one of the questions, because one question was asking, why did you ask Garen to visit, her past? I remember one time, but you just answered that, so thank you. Yeah.
Peter, do you want to come down? He's good at answering questions. Are there other questions?
Yes, there's some really good questions. First, someone said, is that how Brenda does her actual therapy in real life? Or is it just a show. So
Yeah, that's how I do it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can say that too. That's how we do it as well in Imago.
Mhm.
And also someone asked, about 20 minutes in, Garen looked quite emotional, but Sean somehow didn't mirror that facial expression. Do you have any recommendations or suggestion for that when one party is feeling the emotions seem quite strongly, but the other party didn't seem to react with the other person?
I mean, I didn't really notice a time when Sean wasn't available to Garen. He seemed really there for her. Yeah, so I'm sorry if I missed that, but so you would want, I mean, you don't want to mirror the facial expressions because you can't, right? But you do want the person to be recognizing the emotional content that's there.
Okay.
And available to that.
Okay.
If they have the intention of being present to their partner, and they are doing that with their mind and their heart, then I think that's enough.
Okay.
It's about being present to the other's emotional experience in that moment.
So what you're saying is not necessarily mirroring the facial expression, but actually just be present there. Yeah, available for the other person is enough.
Yeah, so Sean wasn't like looking away and his attention wasn't out the window.
No.
He was present for Garen, I thought, the whole time.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I actually have one question. Is that okay? It can be my last question. You mentioned that at one stage when Garen was talking about her past, like her school experience, and you reminded Garen that you two are connected. Sean is here for you. Could you please explain to us why did you remind Garen that?
Because I'm imagining that as a child, she felt like there was no one there for her in that experience. She was completely alone. Whereas Sean felt like he was really available to her at that time. And so I just wanted her to notice that he was there.
Okay.
And I think that's a really healing thing when our partner can be there for us, when we're recounting an experience from the past. And it's a reparative experience to know that there is someone there now, even though there wasn't in the past.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So would you like to talk about what you do, and what you do in person, what you do online, and would you like to talk about that before we finish?
Yeah, sure. So Peter and I run workshops for couples, weekend workshops, and he is often there assisting us, which is wonderful these days. So we do that. We do individual couples therapy.
We prefer face-to-face.
Yes.
But we do Zoom sometimes. We think face-to-face is a better experience.
So if we can, we do face-to-face.
But we do some Zoom.
Yeah. So we also train people who are already working as therapists, psychologists, psychotherapists to work with couples. Because often in our trainings, there's no training to work with couples. And so people try to morph their individual work into working with couples, which we don't think works so well.
No, that's why I started training with you guys.
We just work part-time now. Yes. At our age. We used to be full-time, but we're not now.
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, do you guys have anything to add, Garen and Sean, before we finish? No, thank you so much, Garen and Sean. We really appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you so much for willing to be honest and truthful and vulnerable and in front of the camera. Yeah. So thank you so much. And thank you so much, Brenda and Peter, for your time and effort. Thank you.
Really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. All right. You guys all have a good night. Take care. We'll keep in touch.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.